Have you ever fallen in love with someone who seemed perfect only to find out they were lying to you? Welcome to my channel, where we bring you the most scandalous and jaw-dropping stories from around the world. Today we will discuss a story that will make you question everything you know about love and trust. The story is titled, "I Thought It Was Love, But It Was All a Scam," and it will keep you on the edge of your seat until the very end. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this crazy tale together. Have you ever been so deeply in love with someone that you would do anything for them? What about if that person turned out to be a complete stranger? This story is unbelievable, but it happened to me. I never imagined that I would fall in love with a scammer, but here I am. I'm still in love with him, and I don't want to lose him, even though he has been sentenced to prison. I met him when I was at a low point in my life. I had just got out of a toxic relationship, and I was feeling lost and lonely. Then I met James. He made me feel special and loved. I knew something was wrong because he was too good to be true, but I ignored it and went with my gut. He told me he was a successful businessman who traveled a lot for work. He was always on his phone and laptop, which he said was part of his job. He had a charming smile and a way about him that made me feel like I was the only girl in the room. We quickly fell in love, and he moved in with me after a few months. It was a whirlwind romance, and I was head over heels in love. But soon after he moved in, things started to change. He became distant and secretive. He would go out for long periods of time without telling me where he was going. And when he came home, he would be drinking and angry. He would yell at me for no reason, and I was terrified of him. I thought it was just a rough patch and that he needed my love and support. But one day I found out he was lying to me. He had been arrested for credit card fraud, and he had been released on bail. He had taken money from people he didn't know and promised to invest it and make them rich. But instead, he had used it all on himself. When I confronted him, he begged me to forgive him. He promised to change and be the man I fell in love with. And I believed him. I loved him so much that I was willing to overlook his mistakes. I thought we could have a future together and that he could make me happy. But I was wrong. After he was arrested again for the same crime, I finally realized he wasn't the man I thought he was. He had been living a double life, conning people out of their money and hiding it from me. I felt betrayed and heartbroken. I couldn't believe that I had been so blind and naive. I should have seen the red flags, but I was too caught up in the fantasy of being in love to notice. Even though I was heartbroken, I still loved him. I wanted to help him, but I knew that I couldn't save him. He needed to face the consequences of his actions. I had to let him go, even though it broke my heart. It was the hardest thing I have ever done. As he left, I couldn't help but wonder what would become of him. Would he change his ways, or would he continue to live a life of crime? I knew that he was capable of great things, but I also knew that he had made a lot of enemies along the way. I was worried that something bad would happen to him, but I couldn't bear to stay around and find out. For weeks I didn't hear from him. I assumed he had gone on the run or something worse. Then one day, out of the blue, I received a message from him. He was in jail and he wanted to tell me something. I was shocked to receive a message from him. I had no idea how he had managed to contact me, but I was curious to hear what he had to say. I met him in a secret location. He looked different, thinner, and more haggard than before. But when he smiled, it was still the same charming smile that had captured my heart. He told me that he wanted to confess something to me, something he had been hiding for a long time. He said he had something important to tell me and that I needed to listen carefully. He took a deep breath and began to speak. He told me that he had never loved me. That was like a punch to the gut. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. All the memories we had shared, all the promises he had made, all the love we had exchanged. It was all a lie. He said he had only been with me for my money, that he had been using me all along. I felt sick to my stomach. The betrayal was too much to bear. I tried to stay calm, to process what he was saying, but I couldn't. My mind was racing, my heart was pounding, and I could feel tears welling up in my eyes. I wanted to scream, to break down, to let all the pain and anguish I had been holding inside come out. But I didn't. Instead, I forced myself to listen, to hear him out, to understand the gravity of what he was telling me. He continued, saying that he had known from the beginning that he couldn't love me, that he had no feelings for me whatsoever. He had only been pretending, playing the role of the loving boyfriend, the caring partner, all to gain my trust and ultimately to get access to my money. As he spoke, I felt the rug being pulled out from under me. The world I had known, the reality I had built, it all crumbled into dust. I couldn't believe that I had been so blind, so naive. How could I have missed all the signs? How could I have trusted him? With every word he uttered, the pain grew, the betrayal deepened, the shock intensified. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of deceit, suffocating in the depths of his lies. My whole world was turned upside down, and yet despite the pain, the betrayal, and the shock, there was a part of me that still cared for him. I still loved him. And it was that love, that foolish, misguided love, that kept me listening, kept me engaged, kept me wanting to hear more. As he finished his confession, I felt empty, hollowed out by the realization that I had been nothing but a pawn in his game. I had given him my trust, my love, my all, and he had used it all. He had used me. Despite the pain, I couldn't help but ask, why? Why did he do it? Why did he pretend to love me if he had no feelings for me? His answer, a simple, "I'm sorry." Not a valid excuse, not a good enough reason. After his confession, I cut off all contact with him. I blocked him everywhere. I didn't want to hear from him ever again. I needed to heal, to pick up the pieces of my broken heart and move on. It hasn't been easy. There are days when the pain is unbearable, when the memories come flooding back, when the what-ifs and the could-have-beens torment me. But I'm trying. I'm trying to heal, to move on, to find happiness again. The experience has changed me. I'm more cautious now, more guarded, more skeptical. I find it hard to trust, hard to love, hard to hope. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to pick up the pieces of my broken trust and rebuild them. I'm trying to find love again, real love, honest love, true love. This story is a cautionary tale, a warning to those who may find themselves in a similar situation. Don't ignore the red flags. Don't be blinded by love. Don't be fooled by a charming smile or a sweet word. Be cautious, be careful, be wise. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.